Welcome back to another episode of the GSD show, and today I'm here with Scott Kaspar, a fitness studio owner of the franchise SPENGA. And what's really impressive about Scott is he's already got 500 members and he's only been in the industry for 1 year.
You know, it's pre-sales, so we need to get as many members signed up as possible.
And he's going to talk about on this show how he's been able to create a good team, a great general manager, and exactly what that general manager does and how he found this general manager.
After 2 more weeks of having Grant there, we were at 71.
Wow.
So that's when I knew that he was paying for himself at that point.
I'm also going to put him on the spot to see exactly how his fitness studio answers the phone and how to overcome the objection, how much you charge. We're going to learn a lot today, so hang tight and enjoy the show.
You know, you have to have fun with the business, or else it won't be fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the GSD show. This is a GSD Raw episode. Raw is where we sit down with people that are actual fitness studio owners that are doing something really, really well, and we want to be able to learn exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, so we can share it with you. And in this Raw episode, we're here with Scott Kaspar. Scott, welcome to the show, man.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
Yeah, I love that you're here. We just talked about this, a month ago? Not even? Felt like
maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And I got on the phone. I found out you got like 500 members. You just celebrated your 1 year anniversary. You have 500 paying members at SPENGA. They're paying about how much per month?
Probably about $120.
$120 per month. But what's also really impressive is that you're not a fitness guy. You're a business guy. You were an attorney, right? That's right. You're an attorney, right. And you saw an opportunity in a franchise. You were like, you know what? Let me invest in this. And unlike most franchisees in this industry, you decided not to be entrepreneurial and just kind of like twist and turn what the franchise already put in place. You said, you know what? I'm just going to follow all the rules to a T and just execute at the highest level. And you got 500 paying members, and you got your monthly recurring revenue up really high. You got 23 employees, is that right?
That's right, 23.
And your culture is awesome.
It is. It's one of the most rewarding things. Is the culture is people are very inviting. Our members, we have like a community of members, and they love being in the studio. They love coming in. They love working out. We do a lot of social events. They buy a lot of retail. Yeah. So it's very rewarding, and at times it's actually inspiring. So
yeah, that's awesome. And the thing is, how often would you say you're in the studio?
I try to get out there. I try to get there 2 days a week.
2 days a week. For how long are you there when you're there for 2 days?
Just a few hours.
Few hours.
Yeah.
So here's why I'm doing this episode with you. There's people that have been fitness studio owners for years.
Right.
5 years, 7 years. And they still are in there all day, every day. They still feel like they are running a one-man show.
Right.
And they're just over it, which I'd be over anything if I had to do that, right? You've never even been a fitness studio owner. So what the point I'm wanting to make, guys, is that sometimes we're studying the wrong stuff. Right? We're studying, okay, how do I create a great fitness workout, and how do I get these people to have a better nutritional program, or how do I learn more about fitness? How do I get another certification? How do I do this? How do I do that? In reality, it's like, let's just talk about how to run a business, and that's what you do really well. So I want to learn from you quite a few things, and I want to be able to share that with the group. And a lot of it's going to be really just understanding your day and what it looks like. Okay? So you said I don't say the T words. You do your best to get in there twice a week, right?
There's no try.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. You do your best to get in there twice a week for a couple hours. Mm-hmm. And so when you do go in there, what's your motive? What's your objective?
So when let me step back. I do work from home at night, just looking at numbers, making sure that there's no, I have a dashboard that I've set up that pulls a lot of data from mind body. So I'm kind of watching that all week long.
Well, and that's what I do. It's the same thing. You should be doing that.
Right.
So being in the operation, it's not necessary.
Right. So that's sort of if I see something dramatically happen, I'll be out there the next day. But otherwise, it's just I'm out there just checking in. I have a general manager who's there most days. And I talked to him, and
What's his name?
Grant.
Grant. Okay.
And I mean, we keep in good touch by texting throughout the week, but I actually meet with him, find out what's kind of going on, if there's problems, if there's good things too, and I usually try to get out there. Like in our afternoon, we have there's between 1 and 3, there's no classes, so I try to get out there at that time, because that way he's not distracted.
Right.
And sometimes we'll just spend the time just working together to it sounds weird, but like scrub clean the floor really well or something like that, just because
The little things.
and it gives us an opportunity to sort of actually talk
While you're cleaning.
Right.
Well, that's good. No, that's good. That's good. I get it.
But so that's one thing I do. I try to check in with there's a few instructors I try to check in with pretty regularly, just because I think they have their finger on the pulse of issues like morale, and just to make sure that if they have any concerns, if there's anything we need to address. And I mean, there really hasn't been, but I want to make sure that we address that if it happens, that we're not letting anything linger.
So let's talk about the GM Grant real quick.
Yeah.
So how long has Grant been with you?
Since the beginning.
Since
he
day
started
one? Okay.
day 14, really.
Day 14? Okay. And so you played the role of Grant for the first 13 days.
That's
and
right.
then on day 14, you were like, okay, let me get a guy in here that really does
really
this
like
better
day
than
one.
me, right?
Day one, I was like, I need to hire someone.
Yeah. But that's the way a business person thinks, right? Is like, how do I build my team? I was just talking to McKenna about this, where there's different levels, right? You could be an employee, and when you're an employee, you're just checking up stuff off the list. You do what you have to do to not get fired, right?
That's right.
And then you've got your specialists. These are people probably like a Grant and an instructors, right? These guys are just really good at their particular job.
Right.
And then there's business owners where you're like, okay, I need specialists on my team so that we can have a really great team, and you're building up that group. And you knew from day one you had to find someone, and it took you 14 days. How'd you find Grant? And by the way, he's been here for a year, so you like him.
That's right.
Okay, so how did you find him?
So I had been interviewing for general managers before that time. I was really hoping, so we started our pre-sales last August of 2018, and I was really hoping to get through the first couple months, without a payroll, and
Do pre-sale.
doing pre-sales. And I realized that I really need someone there pretty much full time, just because when I would answer the phone, or when I'd return an email right away, or a text, or what it would be, that sale would work. That sale went through.
Yeah, speed is everything in the sales game.
Right.
A lot of people don't really get that. They think, oh, this person has interest, so I'll get to that lead as soon as I finish this.
Right.
Or whatever this is. And in reality, speed is everything. If you don't call a lead within 5 minutes of that lead coming in, you have a 900 times less likely. No, that's not.
I believe it.
No, that's so there's a study done by MIT. If you go to Google and you type in MIT form leads 5 minutes. Just type that in. You'll find several different studies on it. But MIT did a study, and it said for form leads that take longer than 5 minutes to be responded to, you have a 900 times less chance of getting contact with them. 900 times less chance. So a lot of people hate that they're following up with people over and over. Oh, they don't answer the phone. They don't answer the phone. But when did you pick up the phone?
Right.
Because if you took you 2 hours or an hour, even 10 minutes to pick up the phone, they're probably on to the next thing. Because if you call them within a couple minutes of them filling out the form, and 92% of the traffic from digital is done on cell, right? That means if you call them within a couple minutes, where's the phone? Probably still in their hand from where they filled out the form.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So your contact rate is dramatically higher. So you already understood speed's important, but you can't be at two places at once. So what if we have more leads coming in and I got these things to do with other things?
That's right.
Okay, so you realize that. Go ahead.
Well, and what I noticed is in the first 14 days, so Grant started about 14 days in, I had sold 20 memberships up to that point, which
on your own,
which seemed okay to me.
Yeah.
After 2 more weeks of having Grant there, we were at 71. Wow. So that's when I knew that he was paying for himself at that point.
Oh, he paid himself halfway through that point. Yeah. Okay, so how did you find him? Obviously, you interviewed him, but where did he come from? Did you have an ad out and he responded to an ad, or did you recruit him?
Originally, I used a website.
What'd you use? Do you remember?
Career Plug.
Career Plug?
Yeah.
Career Plug? Okay.
And SPENGA has a subscription, so that's why I used it.
Okay.
And it seemed, it's one of those where you post like a job description, and then it gets sent all over the place, and then you get some leads. But they were good, like pretty good quality leads that were coming in, and so like I think I had 12 really good like candidates on paper within like a week or so.
Okay.
And I did phone interviews and narrowed that down to 5.
So you interviewed all 20 over the phone?
Yeah.
Because maybe you already looked at some of the apps and you knew they weren't a good fit. You got it down to 5.
Got down to 5 that I actually met with, and of that 5, there was 3 that I really liked, Grant being one of them, and it could have been any one of those.
Why Grant then?
So the reason why, I called them all up to find out when they could start, if they were to be, if they were to get the job. And, one of them was like, oh, I need a month. And I understand, like, they're quitting jobs or they're transitioning. Totally. And it was like a Thursday, and I called Grant, and he said, if you really need me, I can start Monday.
Wow, speed is everything.
So
speed is everything.
He was hired. So
wow, that's
so he was
really
hired,
great.
And that was like the 14th day that he started.
Okay.
And we did a 3, just shy of 3 months pre-sales.
Okay.
And but having him, working 9 to 5 every day.
So he's full-time 9 to 5 Monday through Friday?
Right. And then towards the end of our pre-sales, we added in Saturdays.
Does he work Saturday, or do you have somebody that's like an assistant that helps out, like an assistant manager?
During pre-sales, he did.
Okay, so he was working 6 days a week.
At that point, yeah.
Is he paid on commission as well?
Yeah.
So he has an incentive to come in, because I think there's a law. You can't tell a commissioned employee to stop working. I think that's like so you
can't control the commission like that.
Like for other employees that are not commission based, you have to tell them, like, otherwise you have to pay them like time and a half. Unless they're like salary, then that's an option too, depending on the state. But if they're commissioned, you can't affect their income, because they might have taken a pay cut on salary in order to earn more on commission. And as soon as you tell them to stop working, you could be affecting their commission, because the hard work that they did Monday through Friday might finally pay off on Saturday afternoon with a phone call, and they can't take it because you're telling them they can't, and that affects their pay. So yeah, that makes sense for him to pull in on a Saturday.
Well, it's good to know that that was following the law, so that's good.
Yeah, you as an attorney should know. No,
I'm not an employment lawyer.
Wait, what kind of attorney are you?
Intellectual property, so patents, trademarks.
Okay.
And part of that has, my background. I guess what has sort of helped is, I have sort of an eye for brands. For it's kind of what attracted me to Wild Rumor, actually.
Okay.
You guys have your brand down really well, so
thank you.
And it's also what attracted me in part to SPENGA, just because they have a really cool brand.
Really clean looking brand.
Really clean.
In fact, we matched their colors pretty well.
I like it.
So I want to stay on Grant for a minute, because I think he's such an important piece of you being successful. Not necessarily only because Grant is doing a good job, but also because you've probably set him up for success the way it needed to be done. So when you brought Grant on, what was training like, expectations set? Like, what were you holding him accountable to? What was very clear that needed to be done?
Well, what was really clear was just we needed to get, it was pre-sales, so we need to get as many members signed up as possible. And I had goals. It's kind of funny, my original goal was 100 members through pre-sales. And when we blew past that, then I thought, well,
with like 2 months left.
Right. I thought, well, okay, 150. So we kept pushing it up, and and it really kind of like the first month, it was pretty steady, the growth. Like the second month, it took off. You know.
Really? So it was even better than the first month.
Right.
Well, because you had Grant for 2 full halves of the month, and so, as opposed to the first time, you only had him half that month.
And part of it is, I really think like a lot of what Loud Rumor was doing, sort of built, sort of a following in the area. You know, people were seeing the presence on Facebook, because we saw like our Facebook like engagement start to go up too.
Well, of course, yeah, because now people know who you are.
Right.
Even if they didn't opt in, you're getting your name out.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because everything was kind of coming together, and then the numbers just kind of took off. So, I mean that was the biggest goal.
So pre-sales for him, his goal was just sell people.
Right.
That's it. Did he have anything else in regards to finding employees or creating schedules for anybody or anything operationally, or is it during pre-sales was it just let's get paying members in the door?
Yes.
It's just get paying
It's a
members.
very short-term goal, but yeah.
Okay.
But because I mean,
did you line out once pre-sale was over what he was going to be accountable for?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Did you lay that out too?
Yeah.
What did that look like? Okay, pre-sales, here's what we have to do. After pre-sales, here's what we have to do. What was that like after pre-sale? The expectations.
Yeah, and towards like the I don't know, the middle of pre-sales, we did interview instructors.
You and Grant.
Right.
Okay.
To get them all lined up.
Did he have experience in this? Was he
Yeah, that was a big sales point of, I mean, sort of the 3 people I had narrowed down the search for, for general manager, they all were general managers somewhere else in the fitness industry. So,
where did Grant work before?
he had been at a big box gym in downtown Chicago.
Okay, like an LA Fitness or
One of those.
24. Okay.
And he'd been there for, he'd been in the industry for like 14 years, but he had been that general manager for like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And under his, tenure, they're like they renovated and expanded their facility, and he was actually doing really well there. He liked it. The problem was he had a child, newborn, and he lived about an hour away from downtown Chicago, about 10 minutes away from where our studio is now. So that was definitely, he was looking for a new job, out in the suburbs. And so timing was just, it worked out that, I was looking for someone like him, and he was looking for something out, in our area. So, so that's why when I offered the job, he he wrapped up his business really quick to jump on it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so now pre-sales over. We got some people on board. We're good. On a day-to-day, what's Grant doing as your GM in order to relieve you from having to be the GM? Because that's, most studio owners are unfortunately a GM in their own company.
Right.
They have a GM.
Right.
Some may have one, but they're really just a salesperson, and somehow still the owner is acting as the general manager.
Right.
So what's Grant accountable for, like today? Like what's his day look like?
Well, he's in charge of all things sales, and really all things like daily operations. With scheduling, with
Okay. Like making sure the right instructors and front desk and all that stuff.
And I mean, we have 11 instructors, and for the most part now, they do have a set schedule, and it varies as people go on vacations and things like that. But he's the one that makes sure that we can start all our classes on time, that that the instructors are there, that they're prepared, they have all the supplies they need.
He's the boss there.
Right.
Yeah. So the front desk people, you have them doing sales?
Yes.
Or is
Initially,
Grant
no.
making all the calls? Like who's? I know he's in charge of the
Right.
sales results, but is he the salesperson exclusively, or do you
No.
have? Okay, so who's like if I call in, who's selling me? Like right now, if I
And
call
hopefully
your
they're
studio.
selling. No, so we have there's 4 front desk people who split shifts. So there's always someone at the front desk. Grant works, kind of core business hours, and it's really just kind of whoever grabs the phone first. You know, a lot of times the front desk people might be working to check members in for a class, to do sales or, you know, retail sales. So it may be Grant actually answering the phone a lot of times because he's got the availability to pick up the phone. But it could be anyone, and that's what we've been working on we started in probably in July with really working on the front desk to get their sales skills.
How to answer the phone, how to call people, follow up, all that. Okay.
Because it wasn't, you know, all of our front desk people, and I love them, they're all very friendly people persons, but like sales was not
They weren't trained on it.
Right. It wasn't something that was in their skill set.
Yeah. So you had to train them.
Right.
And now they're trained.
They're getting there.
Now they're closing.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Can I call your studio right now and see how they do?
Let's try it.
Yeah, okay. I don't try anything.
Let's do it.
Okay. So we're gonna give your studio a call, okay?
All right.
Now it's public information, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so we can take your number on.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the phone number here?
It's 833-4-SPENGA. So it's 833-477-3642.
Okay. So let's see what happens. Who do you think would answer?
And it goes to sometimes it might go to like an auto attendant first.
Thank you for calling SPENGA Geneva. If you know your party's extension, please enter it now. For our dial by name directory, please press 8. For main reception and all other inquiries, please press 0 now. Thank you for...
Who do you think's gonna answer?
It's an hour ahead. It might be Grant.
Okay.
Thanks for calling SPENGA Geneva. This is Sean. How can I help you?
Hey, Sean. My name is Mark. I'm thinking about coming in and getting a membership there.
Sure.
What do you guys charge?
Have you been... So we got, well, basically, if you're looking at the memberships, we have $69 for 4 times a month. 8 times a month is $119, and then unlimited is $149. We currently have a promo going on right now, 12 for 12. So it's a one-time fee of $12, and it lasts for 12 consecutive days.
Really?
You can come as many classes as you like. Yeah.
Wow. So 12 days for $12.
That's correct.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is it possible for me to like do a free workout and check it out?
Yeah, I can give you a one free workout as far as the let me see. Yeah, some left here. Yeah, I can give you a free session.
Awesome. Is it cool if my wife comes too, or am I asking for too much?
Yeah, that's fine. So we can go about a couple different ways. If you guys want to stop in, do you guys live in the area?
Yeah, we're like a mile away.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so you can do one or two ways. You can call. We can do it right over the phone. I would need some information from you, and then I would need her information. Or if you guys want to stop in and take a look at the studio, and that way I can kind of take you on a tour. You can take a peek. We'll go back there, and I can kind of go over a few things with you as far as the workouts go. Do you know what we do as far as our workouts?
Yeah. Actually, Sean, I'm going to stop you real quick. So my name is Mike, and I'm actually the host of the GSD show. We were secretly shopping your studio, but you answered. You did a great job, man. Yeah, you're literally live on the GSD show right now.
Hey, John, Scott. How are you doing?
What's going on?
You did a good job, man.
Oh, cool.
We mainly wanted to see if you'd answer the phone in off hours like this and then be able to get me booked. And so far, so good. But we're going to get back to the show, okay?
All right, outstanding.
All right. Sorry we're not a deal, but, you did good.
All right, no problem.
All right. Take care.
I'll see you tomorrow, John.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Okay.
That was good. I was worried he answered quick, which is good. Yeah. You're doing it the SPENGA way, right? Like is that the way you guys are trained on calls and stuff?
Generally, yeah.
I love the 12 for 12 thing.
That's
because he
the promo, and
because he had to give me price because I asked him.
Right.
So he had to give me something around it. But I love that before I can even respond to the deal, he went to we have a promo right now for $12. That seemed very low. for 12 days you can come in. And that was really cool to jump right to that quickly. Yeah, awesome. Do you guys ever test asking the person's name as soon as they answer the phone? So you can avoid getting the price question altogether? So for example, can I role play with you real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, so imagine you want to ask me for price.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for calling SPENGA Geneva. This is Mike. How can I help you?
Wait, who am I?
You're the prospect, right? So you just want to know like what we cost, right? Thanks for calling SPENGA Geneva. This is Mike. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm interested in signing up for SPENGA.
Awesome. And yeah, that sounds great. What's your name?
My name is Scott.
Scott, perfect. And Scott, so now you didn't ask me for price. That's what I told you to do. You didn't ask me. How come you didn't ask me for
Because
price?
you asked me my name.
No, I didn't ask you your name. No, you're getting ahead of yourself. So because you've been through my training on this, haven't you? No. So I want you to just ask me straight price.
Okay.
Okay. So just as soon as I answer the phone, just feel like that's all you really need to know. You're a prospect. Okay.
Okay.
So thanks for calling SPENGA Geneva. My name is Mike. All right. Yeah. My name is Mike. How can I help you?
Hi, Mike. I was calling to find out more information about SPENGA. I want to sign up. What's the price?
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay. So that's the way that he basically answered, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But a way to make it easier to get around is the asking for the name, right? Which I didn't do the first time. I'll do it on this one. Ready? So thanks for calling SPENGA Geneva. This is Mike. May I ask your name, please?
Sure. My name's Scott.
Hey, Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Scott, are you a member of ours?
Not yet.
Hey, no big deal. No big deal. So Scott, do you live around the area?
I do. I'm about a mile away.
A mile away? That's great. Where do you live? Where are you around?
I'm in the Glen Eagle subdivision.
Got it. How did you hear about us? You just drive by us, or did you see us on Facebook? How'd you hear about us?
Yeah, I've actually seen some of your ads on Facebook, and I've become curious about it.
That's perfect, Scott. Just in case we get disconnected, what's the best phone number for you? Oh, 555-5555. That sounds great. Don't want to blow you up there. Awesome. Sounds great. And Scott, have you been here before?
No.
Do you know anybody that works out here?
I do.
You do?
A bunch of my friends work out there.
Really? That's fantastic. Who are they?
Grant Bergen works out there, and John Rose.
Perfect. Let's say you don't, because now you know the price if they work out there, right?
Okay.
They're your friends. So say, no, I don't.
No, I don't.
Okay, no big deal. Well, you'll make a lot of friends when you get here. Sounds great. Hey, listen, I'd love to invite you complimentary on me to come in for a free class since you've never been in before and you're just down the street. Is it okay if I invite you to come in for a free class?
Absolutely.
Perfect. We got some cool promos running when you get here. Is it okay once you get here I show you those so you know what they are?
Yeah.
That's great. Scott, when would you like to come in? Are you more of a morning person, evening person? What time of day do you typically work?
First thing in the morning.
That's when you like to work out?
Yeah.
You got it. So tomorrow, how about 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m.? Which one's good for you?
6 a.m. That'd be
You
great.
got it. 6 a.m. sounds great. Scott, is there anything outside of a hurricane or natural disaster that would prevent you from coming at 6 a.m. tomorrow?
No.
Awesome. Scott, who you want to bring with you?
I'll bring
A
my
wife, buddy, brother, coworker? Who do you want to come with you?
Sure, I'll bring my wife.
Your wife? Perfect. Do you like your wife?
Sometimes.
All right, awesome. I was saying, if you're mad at her right now, we could turn the heat up on her a little bit. I learned that from an Orange Theory guy that was on the show.
That's pretty funny.
Awesome. Sounds great. And what's her name?
Her name's Beth.
Beth. Okay, sounds great. So Beth can make it in tomorrow at 6 as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, sounds great. Scott, this is my cell number. For any reason you want to cancel or reschedule because something came in, that natural disaster happened, just give me a call and we can make it work. Other than that, you know what I want you to eat between now and then? Anything you want because we're going to burn it off. Is that fair?
Awesome.
Yeah? Okay, you're going to have a great workout, Scott. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll get you set up tomorrow at 6 a.m. We're going to lock a spot just for you and your wife. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right. I'll see you then.
All right.
So how much did we charge?
We never talked about it.
Did you feel like it just flowed, though?
It did. Like, you definitely had control of the whole conversation.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah.
So sometimes people go, what do I say when they ask for price? So you just don't get them to ask for price.
That's a good idea.
If you feel uncomfortable dealing with it, then don't deal with it.
Right.
Right? Oh, how do I deal, I don't like anything that you don't want to do. Oh man, what if I don't like to cook? Okay, then go out to eat. You don't like to cook, then don't deal with cooking. There's not an easier way to, if you don't,
Right.
So same thing with this, you don't want to hear the price objection. You don't want to hear the other things that, whatever it is that you don't want to hear, find out what those are. This eludes everything, right? So basically, I got your name.
Right.
I said your name a bunch of times. I got your phone number, right? Remember that? I grabbed your phone number. Even though I may have on the caller ID, when I asked you your number, remember, and then you were about to tell me, I was like 555-5555. I got your number just in case the caller ID number is your work number and you don't want me to blow you up at work, right? It's good to have that. Plus, whenever you ask for someone's number, they're going to give you their cell just in case that is that case, right?
Right.
I asked how you heard about us, so I knew that. I knew where you lived. I knew who you'd like to bring with you, right? So I got all the information. In fact, how much information did you get about us? What do you know about SPENGA based on that call?
Nothing.
Nothing. You don't know anything. You don't know anything except for our class times for tomorrow morning.
Right.
That was it. And that's okay, because I need to know more about you than you need to know about me, right? Now, there's arguments on how you can take that call differently, and I'm not saying that my way is the only way. There's a lot of ways to raise good kids. There's a lot of ways to get in great shape. There's a lot of ways to take a phone call and make a sale, but that way definitely works for a lot of people. The best way to do is ask their name from the beginning. You throw them off. Now, the reason I was able to lead the call is because I led it from the beginning. But as soon as you say, how can I help you? You're giving the leadership to that person. Now that person's going to ask you whatever question. You're going to answer it. Now they're going to ask you another question. They're going to answer it. You're going to keep going because that's how conversations work.
Right.
But you can do the same conversation the other way. And now you're only going to get the info that you need, and they're not going to get the info that you don't want them to get. You can give them whatever info you want, but that's pretty much where it ties. And now, people are going to say, well, you should get some info on the phone about their goals and that. You can, but it's way better in person.
Right.
Because now it's going to follow up with a workout, right? So one thing I would have done differently on that too, on that one, is I would have asked him to come in 20 minutes early too. So make sure you ask that as well. Come in 20 minutes early.
We definitely did
20 to 30 minutes early. Cool. So, but he did a good job. Like, I mean, obviously you got 500 members, and so these guys, this isn't like the wrong way to do it. I always think there's always a way to optimize what you got going on, right? Okay, awesome. So it sounds like Grant is doing a fantastic job. How did you know what you wanted Grant to be accountable for? Did your franchise line out what a good GM is responsible for doing, or did you do some homework, or did you just guess?
A little bit of all three, to be honest. SPENGA did have sort of guidelines. When we were in pre-sales, about halfway through, SPENGA puts on what they call an ops training, and it's a 3-day training where you kind of go over operations, more like nuts and bolts of things.
So that's where you learned.
I think that kind of is like, it at least shined the light on some issues. So I knew there was things I need to address. And then, working with Grant, we kind of came up with a lot of solutions together. But, I suppose the biggest thing that, we set monthly goals, and they're on all sorts of things.
What are some of your goals this month?
So there's always like financial ones. There's
like revenue and profit.
Monthly revenue. We're going to start working on profit now.
So right now, because you're in year one, you really just focused on revenue, profits. Now that we're here,
right?
That's good.
And we have all of our sort of solutions in place. So now it's about sort of containing those costs. Because it's easy to spend money. So
yeah, I know. Look at the
room. We have it's a very nice room. But we have new member goals, and then one thing I've been really focusing on is just the conversion of all. So we get I think last month we had 183 leads from Watermer. We got 123 of them in the door.
Wow.
So I think that's great.
Wow. Hold on. Out of 183 leads, you got 123 to actually step foot into the studio.
Right.
It's really good.
So that's good. And then we closed, of that 123, we signed up 41 new members, which, that's a third. So that's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. The average is 10% on digital leads.
Right.
Grant Cardone, one of the best salespeople out there, his digital leads, he gets 6% conversion rate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are 30 is great. That means you guys, your follow-up's really, really good. How often do you guys follow up with your leads?
We follow up with them immediately once they come through.
And then frequency after?
And then we've been trying to, we've been, usually every day, we're using a product called Loyal Snap.
Loyal Snap, yeah. We actually recommend Loyal Snap.
And so that sort of identifies groups of people and makes the organization pretty easy because
that's all texting.
Right.
Yeah.
But if someone signed up and they didn't come in, within like 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. So it sort of identifies those groups of people so that we can follow up with them really quickly.
That's awesome.
And try to get them in.
That's awesome. So how, let's say I filled out a form. How many times do you think between text, email, voicemail, how many touch points do you think I'd have before I finally came into the studio? Let's say inside a 15, 20-day period, whatever it is.
Oh, like in a 15-day period? Probably 10.
10
touch
touches?
points. Yeah.
Between text, phone call,
Right.
email, all that. Yep. And when you guys send text messages out, like what kind of text, like what are you sending?
So we send out texts through OilSnap, which is like
Yeah.
a script.
Oh, so they provide scripts for you?
Right.
Wow,
But
that's
we
really
also use ZipWhip.
Yep, we recommend ZipWhip as well.
And ZipWhip, I really like ZipWhip because it comes to your phone, it goes to the GM's phone.
Right.
So we can stay on top of, because people text, and sometimes you'll send them a text, and maybe like 11 p.m. you get a response. Maybe they had a rough day or something. I don't know. But it's nice because typically Grant or I, or usually both, are up at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
to respond right away, and people are blown away by that. So,
Yeah, they like that stuff. By the way, for anyone listening, if you go to the show notes page, you can actually see we have like promotional offers for both Loyal Snap and ZipWhip because they're partners of ours. So you guys can get a good deal, good discount by going to those links. If you guys are watching, then you've already seen the URLs come up on the screen. So just use those, and you guys will get a better deal, which you probably already went through. But did you go through our marketplace? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool, perfect. Awesome. So I love that. Instructors, you got 11 of them. Are they part-time, full-time, contractors, combination?
They're all employees.
They're all employees. Do you have any contractors working for you?
No, and it's an Illinois thing.
Yeah. It's not allowed to happen.
They're
or heavily frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you as a legal guy, you're like, I'm not dealing with it.
Exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
But they're all employees. But they work. Some of them work, just 2 classes a week, and some work like 6 or 8 classes a week. And it just depends. Mm-hmm. And they all sort of carry different, like we have an instructor who teaches like 2 classes a week. She's got a full-time job, not fitness related. So mm-hmm. those 2 classes are like her outlet.
To get out.
To get out, and she puts on like a lot of theme classes.
Like what? Really, what's an example of a theme class?
She did like an Elton John class.
So what's that, like all the music's Elton John?
It was all.
She dressed up different? What's
both? She mixed in, like, the playlist was all Elton John music, but it was like dance versions of it. So it was good for fitness.
Yeah. Okay.
And just so that people are staying with it. And
that's
yeah,
really
and
cool.
She dressed up. She had a bunch of Elton John glasses and things. And
that's really cool.
So she does a lot of like really creative stuff, and she's got a following of people who want that. So
yeah. That's really smart. Like, because I'd want to go to her classes.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, is her classes packed?
Usually, yeah.
Do they know what the theme is going to be before they get in?
No.
So they just walk
Surprise.
in, and then next thing you know, it's like NSYNC, and here we go. It's bye, the whole class. Okay. Wow, that's really cool.
She and then like we have one of our instructors who probably teaches like 8 classes a week. She does like just a really intense workout. I mean, like it'll make you cry. Like, and she has a really loyal following for that same reason.
Yeah.
There's people that want
more aggressive
that intensity. So.
Yeah. Wow. That's really, and so where do you find your instructors? Because you got 11 of them. So do you just have ads out, same thing in Career Plug, or do you use something else?
So we started with 11. We opened with 11. The first 5.
Same people, or have you rotated?
So we still have 11. We've rotated. There's 3 that are not original.
Okay, got it.
For different reasons, but the original 11 that we had, I think we found the first 5 just using Career Plug.
Okay.
And then we pulled those 5 aside and said, we need like 10. Help us recruit, because they know who the best people are, and and they know the people who they like.
So they helped you bring people in.
So we brought in, this group of people, and everyone, gets along pretty well.
Yeah.
And they're all, they're all at a really high quality, level of fitness instruction. So, it's a really good group of people and they motivate each other, and they attend each other's classes from time to time and give each other input and feedback. So
That's really cool.
So it's pretty cool.
So where do you learn? Like, where do you learn business stuff? Do you read books? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you go through any type of courses? Do you go to conferences, seminars? Spill it. Where do you learn how to run a business the way you do? Because you do a good job of it.
Well, thank you. I'd like to say I read, but I don't have time for reading. I do like to watch a lot of things.
Like what? What do you watch?
Initially, I like going to shows, seminars, things like that.
Oh, you do? Okay.
But a couple months ago, maybe it's more than a couple months ago, it was like September, no, it was August. So you had introduced me to the Learning Center, and
the Loud Rumor Virtual Training.
Right.
Learning Center. Okay.
LRVT. And so that was, I had originally looked, when we were doing pre-sales, you guys had the first version of that, the training center.
Yep.
And
it's different now.
Right. And I had watched all those videos back then. I liked them, and I liked that they were they're topical. They're just a few minutes long, so you can kind of plow through them, but they're helpful. So when you told me about the Loud Rumor virtual training, I checked it out, and it's like turn up to an 11. It's really good. So I've been going through it. I have some of our front desk looking at parts of it.
We just filmed front desk training yesterday.
I heard that.
Yeah, we filmed front desk training. We filmed GM training.
Awesome.
And we've got 250 new trainings coming in by February 15th. So right now it's November. Wow. For everybody, we're in November 13th filming right now. So it's November 13th filming. So basically December, just 3 more months from now, we'll have 250 new trainings in there.
Awesome.
And they're good, man. They're really good. Really good. The people we've got in there teaching, the studio owners we've got in there teaching, it's good. Yeah,
cool.
You're going to like it. So LRVT, you went through LRVT. You said seminars. What kind of seminars or conferences or events do you go to?
I've been to some things that SPENGA has recommended.
Like what?
Oh, they've brought in some different speakers.
So stuff that they hosted.
Right.
Got it. And then they brought in different speakers on different topics. What kind of topics?
A lot of it's focused on sales.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Good. Did you go to GSD Con last year?
No, but I'm
going
to go this year.
Yeah. Have you heard about it?
Yeah.
Or did you see the? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
One of our other franchise owners, who's out actually, he's in Albuquerque, but I think he's going to develop Scottsdale. He went last year and said it was awesome. So
it was.
Yeah.
He's accurate. he's a very perceptive person. No, but it was such a fun time. But we had some of the most successful and well-trained fitness studio owners and entrepreneurs up on stage teaching how they do what they do step by step. So it's basically just every angle you could think of on how to run a fitness studio, from PR to sales to marketing to retention. Everything was just really, really emphasized. And this year, our budget's 2.5 times larger. So we're really going to put on a great show.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely make sure you get out there. And then, do you listen to podcasts at all?
Not necessarily, but I appreciate the value of them. So I'm going to try to.
Have you ever heard?
I drive a lot.
Have you ever
so
heard of the GSD show, or have you just? Yeah. Oh, you've heard it.
I've watched. I've listened to this.
Oh, you're more of a watcher or viewer than you are a listener.
Right.
Okay, cool. So you listen to GSD. You watch a GSD show. Okay,
right.
Cool. All right, good. So now you can watch yourself. It's not just me all the time. All right, that's awesome, man. I mean, you're doing so many things right. which is really great. But I think the biggest takeaway for anybody watching is, you can have a business that you own and not have to run.
Right.
And you can build a really great team. And if you have great processes in place for that team and you pay them well, you can really explore more opportunities as an entrepreneur and be able to create more opportunities, not just for yourself, but for your members and for those employees, because Grant's going to keep growing. Right. Grant's going to want more, and but that's okay, because
no, it is okay.
More is available as he contributes to the success of the businesses that you guys are running together. You guys are doing it together, and if it means opening up a second location, do you have plans on doing that?
Yeah, I do. I have plans to, and I'm actually working on trying to finish up a lease on a second place.
Oh, so you're already in the process of it. That's great.
And so Grant and I have discussed that his role over time will be moving into more of a area manager, regional manager.
Yeah. He's basically managing all the different properties you're working on.
Right.
You can't do that if you don't have, like, if you're tied to the studio all day, every day, you can't even think about opening up a second location.
Oh, no.
Not success. And the funny thing is, I take that back, because I've seen people are doing it because they think, I'm only making $2,000 a month off this studio, and I'm there all the time. But if I have another studio and another studio, now I have $8,000 a month, and it's like, no. The
and
problem,
where are you going to be?
The problem to your low income is not, we need 30 of these. Your problem is you need to get this one really, really right.
Right.
And to the point where you don't have to be there all the time.
Right.
In fact, most of the time, so that you can really put your attention. Because I bet you in the first month you put a lot more time in than you do today.
That's true.
Right? You have to build your team, right? Interviewing, creating the processes, making sure the processes are in place, dealing with contractors, all that. So how are you going to do any of that on round two if you're still in the business? Right? You can't. At least not successfully, and I think that's what a lot of people are messing up on. So, man, great learning from you. What else should I know about you? Is there anything else before we sign off that I should ask you to make sure that these guys got everything they could have from you?
I mean, I think we've touched on a lot. It's been fun. It's been fun. And I mean, maybe that's actually the you have to have fun with the business, or else it won't be fun. You have to. We do a lot of sort of like staff outings, and that's.
Where do you guys go?
So probably the best one we did is in August. We rent out. There's a single A baseball team in town, and they have actually a really nice stadium for single A. And they have a rooftop that you can rent out. So we rented it out, and
that's cool.
It was sort of an all-day thing, or all afternoon.
Would you guys just drink and eat?
It's baseball.
So it was during a game. So
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, but I mean, there was hot dogs and beer.
So you're able to not be fitness people for a day.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. So we do stuff like, I mean, maybe not that. That was kind of a big outing, but we're scheduling a happy hour. I think it's next Friday, which I'll be paying for because it was conditioned on last month's goals. If they hit, there was 3 goals that the staff was charged with hitting. If they hit them all, then there's a bonus that they all got. But then the kicker was I'd buy them a happy hour. So.
Nice. Well, then you're not paying for it. They're paying for it.
Right.
They pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. You go, okay, cool. Can I spend the money you made?
That's right.
Awesome, man. You're doing so many things right. I'm so glad you were able to come out here. In fact, I learned even more than I thought I was going to learn from you, just because I didn't know what I knew I would learn from you. I just didn't know what it would be. And just I think the takeaways on how the importance of having a really good team in place like you've got, and really just understanding that you've got to run the plays. You've got to have good partnerships in place. I love that you're going through the trainings. I love that you're building a great culture by having team outings and doing stuff like that with your people. And You and I actually seem to run a business a lot alike, which is really good. So I appreciate you being here, man. I know it was a long trip for you, so thanks for coming out.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my honor, actually.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for everyone watching, man, if you like this episode, which I know you did because you're still watching, right? Like, that'd be weird if you're like, this is annoying, but I'll keep doing it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Share this episode. Review us on iTunes. Do all the stuff that really helps this show do what it needs to do and keep going and growing. And I really appreciate you guys listening in, as always, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, or YouTube. And to watch more episodes and get exclusive links from each episode, go to gsdshow.com. Again, that's gsdshow.com.